Preparing a meal for her family is nothing new for Taysir al-Nourani, but the portions have changed over the past few days. The reason? Higher prices in the market.
There's an increase in the prices of basic commodities. What I could buy for $85 in the past now cost $170. Even the cost of bread's gone up, and it affects my spending on other things.
Sudan's economy has been weakening since the United States imposed economic sanctions in 1997, which were lifted in October last year. But there hasn't been much of an improvement since then. The government's 2018 fiscal budget has a deficit, which has forced it to eliminate some subsidies. One of them was for wheat imports.
We used to get a sack of flour for $22 or $24, but it was hard to find. Now the prices are higher, it's $57, and you can find it, but there is a very noticeable increase in the cost.
Lifting wheat subsidies has hiked prices of bread, which led to protests in many parts of the country. 3 people were killed and more than a dozen members of one of the main opposition parties, which called for peaceful protests, arrested. Protesters say police used tear gas to stop them. And the government shut down newspaper publications and confiscated copies that were already in distribution. But the prices of bread is not the only reason behind the protests. Sudan's currency has been weakening against the dollar for many years. In 2005, you needed 2 Sudanese pounds to get $1. In 2012, you needed 8. Now it's at a record 30 for just $1 on the black market. With prices of some commodities more than doubling, many find life unaffordable. Sudan's government lowered the official rate of the currency against the dollar from 6.7 to 18 pounds in January, as part of reforms recommended by the International Monetary Fund. But it says the reforms have nothing to do with the hikes in prices.
There have been government efforts to reduce the prices of staple consumer goods. The rise in prices is not related to the devaluation of the official exchange rate, rather the result of black market manipulation of that rate, and the ministry and central bank are working to shut it down.
But some analysts say the worsening economy is because of government policies and the budget it proposed for this year.
The 2018 budget presented to Parliament was unrealistic. It was beyond Sudan's economic capacity without a vision or identification of the resources to cover the budget. The budget may collapse, if not in 2 months, then in 3, because the Ministry of Finance doesn't have the resources for the revenue to cover it.
Taysir doesn't know what the government's next steps will be, but she hopes it won't result in more hikes in prices, which could force her family to go without some meals. Hiba, Al Jazeera, Khartoum.